Okay, so I'm going to continue using the Mario image, the vector version, to continue talking about how to do vector-based graphics. So I'm going to skip around a little bit and then talk about how to do editing. So editing, as you kind of seen from the last video, is pretty much where we open up the points of our designs or vector lines, vector graphics, and then from there we can actually modify the points or the segments connecting the two points. So these little squares, these are known as your nodes, and they act as the connections between the different segments, which is the start and the end of a formula for that segment. Okay. So to edit it, one way is you can press the N button to open your node editing function, or if you're a regular select, you can just double click on it to activate node editing mode. So two things you can do when you're editing your designs is one is you can grab the node and then grab it and drag it along and adjust it to its new position. So you can kind of see it changes up my design. And I can drag and drop it anywhere I want, and then the curves will automatically adjust to that. Okay. The other thing also you'll notice is that when I grab a node, you're going to see these little handles popping up. They allow me to affect the curvature of that line segment. The other thing also is the adjacent nodes to it. They will also have their own handles. So then I can go ahead and further manipulate that line segment in the second half. So the left half and the right half of the line segments. So that gives you more control over your lines to kind of give it a little bit more precision. The other thing you also notice is that when I move one handle of the node, the opposite one also kind of goes in the opposite direction. Sometimes that can help out when you're doing your designs. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of that. So what I usually like to do is I like to break the node. Let's see what button was it? Was this one? Yep. And that allows me to manipulate the node independently so the other one doesn't get affected by it. Okay. So that again, that gives you further precision and input of your design, especially when you're trying to trace out a drawing that already exists. Okay. You can also do is aside from playing around with the node and adjusting it, you can also grab a line segment and then you can actually grab it and stretch it out in whatever direction orientation that you want. Okay. And so based off of that, the node handles will move accordingly. So when I grab the line, you can see that those handles actually move in kind of in the same direction and magnitude of that curve. Okay. Once I'm done with that, I could just hit escape a couple of times to get out of that and then go into my select mode. So then with that, then I can continue adding in more drawings. So I can add in squares, or maybe if I want to paint Mario, so I'll use the paint bucket tool. And so what it'll allow me to do is it'll actually only allow me to change anything that's on there. I can't do anything because there's empty space. So technically nothing exists. So I am not allowed to paint on there. Unlike Microsoft Paint where you paint the white space, anything that's connected or touching that will get painted that color. Here in Inkscape, only if there's a solid shape that or a shape that exists with closed points and all that will you be able to color it in.